Good morning, everybody. It's a good Sunday morning. I got church here in a little bit, but I kind of want to take you around and show you what the project is for today and tomorrow. I was blessed. I'll show you a picture of it here. By my youngest daughter, Julia, getting a deer. So we're gonna make some farmer sausage. So we're getting out all the supplies. Got a hand crank mixer here. Got that sucker out. For the smoker, we're gonna be using our temp gauges that you've seen us do reviews on. These are the Thermo Pros. They work great. We got the grinder to grind the meat. Foot pedal here from Cabela's, which makes that a lot easier. So we're going to be on that. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go out here. Nice and cold here in Minnesota today. I think it's running about 22 degrees. And we're going to take that, skin it, debone it, package it up into about 7 pound, probably a 7 pound package for summer sausage and probably 3 pound packages for farmer sausage. But for the sake of the video, I really want to show the farmer sausage. So we'll get 3 pounds of that. Plus, if you recall, we did some pork butchering maybe a month and a half ago. So we're going to have 3 pounds of that. Venison to 3 pounds of pork, so we'll do an equal 50-50 with farmer sausage versus summer sausage. We don't do a 50-50, we do 70-30. So, and then we'll use some veggie stable, which is celery salt in it. We'll use that as our cure. For the farmer sausage, we're going to use some basic, simple ingredients. And, we're going to make it so it tastes awesome. So I'm just getting supplies out here. So we'll have mixing bowls and spoons. Probably have some salt and pepper. We'll have some veggie stable. We'll have 3 pounds of pork, 3 pounds of venison. So stick along, folks, as we get this done today. We got all our cutting knives out here and all our cutting stuff for getting the deboning done. Look at that. Still got blood on the gun. But regardless, we got the stuffer out here, the platform to work on. We're getting a tray out here to cut meat. We've got our spices out here. We're going to start with a 10 millimeter grind. So I'll change that 3 millimeter out here in a minute. We got everything ready for smoking here. I'm going to start getting stuff ready to go. I've got my mixes that I want to use, and I've got my mixer. So I think what's going to happen here today is we're going to debone, which is going to be number 1. Skin and debone, and then we're going to get things weighed. We're going to get it ground. We're going to get the spices in it, and then we're going to, cover it up, let it sit overnight, let the cure do its work. Tomorrow we're going to stuff and smoke. So that's the game plan here, folks. I'll walk you through it as we go. Okay, so we got the pork trimmings here. Perfect. 3 pounds, 8 ounces of pork trimmings. That's exactly what we want. So we'll take this for farmer sausage and put it with 3.8 pounds of venison, and then that's going to make it for us. Okay, so I've got Julie out here, and she's getting her skinning done, which is great. I'm helping her get it pulled off. It won't take her long to do it. 15-20 minutes, and she'll have this thing all freed up because we pull it with the winch at the same time. And then we'll get on to the deboning. Here it is. Still on the bone, a lot of it, but this is the meat that we're going to use to make our sausage. And in talking with my bride, we decided we're going to change the size of the batch up. So I've got about 8 pounds now of pork. I took a couple bags of pork, and I'm going to push the trimmings up to about 15-16 pounds, and I'm going to make a bigger batch. Now, the scale here showed 8 pounds, 13 ounces of pork, but there's about a pound of water in here. So it's really about 7 pounds. So I'm going to take it up now to about 14 some pounds of venison. Farmer sausage is really easy to make. It's probably the easiest sausage to make of all the sausages out there when it comes to kind of homesteading and making your own product. Because it's a 50-50. It's very simple with the spices. It's very forgiving as how you store it and keep it, which is great. So you just have a lot of options. So there I'm at 14 pounds. That's what we're going to grind up. So the first thing I'm going to do is have Julia take the 10 millimeter plate. I don't know. That's, it's like 3/8 inch hole or something. It's No, excuse me, it's bigger than that. It's a good-sized whole plate. And I'm going to have her do the coarse grind first. And this meat is cold, which makes it grind a lot nicer because it's been hanging in a barn at about, 35 degrees was what it got down to in there the night before. So she's going to get the coarse grind done. Then we got to get it cold again, because if you try to do a second grind on it, which you need to do for farmer sausage if you want that finer texture, you got to have it cold. In the meantime, while it's getting cold, I just want to go through the spices. It's really, really simple. It's going to be salt. And I like to use about 1/4 of a cup of salt per batch. Now remember, I'm doing a double batch. I'm going to make this, like I said, we're going to do a batch based on 7 pounds and 7 pounds. Again, if it was 3 pounds and 3 pounds of pork and deer, I would just do 1/8 of a cup of salt. And again, that's our flavor and that's our preservative for the most part in this, because it's such a basic sausage. Basically, the ingredients that I like for farmer sausage in this old school recipe is just salt and pepper. And then in this situation, I want to put just a tad of cold smoke on it. And when I say cold smoke, I just mean that we're not cooking at a very high temp. So I'm going to use a little bit of my veggie stable. To mix my spices in, I like to use 2 cups of water for this recipe. And that's, again, with a double batch. With a single batch, I'd probably only use a cup of water. So a single batch would be 3 pounds pork, 3 pounds of venison, 1/8 of a cup of salt, and a cup of water. And then for the pepper, I'd probably use maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon or so for this batch. And I would say for, a small batch, I'd probably use, maybe half a tablespoon. So then it's just about mixing it up. Now, disregard that green bowl up top. I'm making a batch of my spices up for summer sausage too. So just disregard that. So this is all it takes to make farmer sausage, folks. I got my can of pepper, I got my jar of salt, and I got my veggie stable. And the veggie stable that I use 1 ounce of veggie stable for a double batch. I'd use a 1/2 ounce for a single batch. Now it's cold. The meat's cold already again. So then you can turn around. She's got it really cold. It's about 32 degrees. It's not quite frozen yet, but it's really close. And she can put it back through the grinder and do a double grind. And this time we're using the little tiny plate, the little 3mm plate. And she's doing a great job of getting that ground up. So at this point, basically what I've got is 7 pounds of pork, 7 pounds of deer. I've got 1/4 of a cup or so of salt in it. I got a tablespoon of pepper, and I've got 1 ounce of veggie stable. And that's all been soaking, for maybe about an hour, and it's stirred up really well. And now she's got the second grind done. So what's going to happen today on Sunday? We're going to mix this together, get it all mixed up. It's going to darken in color because of that celery salt, which is working as our cure, our nitrate. So, and then we're going to take this and we're going to refrigerate it overnight and let all that flavor kind of sink in and kick in. And then tomorrow we'll do the casings and the cold smoke, so to speak. This is such an easy sausage to make. And it's very easy to store. So if you put the cure in it, or the celery salt in this situation, and you smoke this all the way through, it would literally be ready to eat. So you could do it that way. In this situation, I'm putting the cure in it. I'm going to do a little bit of a, cold smoke or a low heat smoke, and then I'm going to freeze it. But there's many years where I don't even have time to smoke this sausage. So again, I will just make it, case it up, and freeze it. And that works too. It's extremely easy. So here I am, my son's cranking it, and I poured about half the mixture in of liquid, so it kind of gets in there. And then in a little bit, I'm going to pour the other half in, and then just mix, and mix. It's really that simple. I take a spoon and get it off the sides and stuff. I just want to make sure it all gets mixed together. It's just my analness. I like to get it done. So my son's cranking away and getting it done, and here's the last of the spices, and I put it in. So there's about 14 some pounds of meat, and it's got all the spices in it that he's mixing up, which is basically 2 ingredients in the cure. And then I'm going to put it back into the roaster, which has been cleaned out. And I'm going to basically refrigerate this. And it's starting to turn color already. See how it went from a kind of more of a bright pink when she ground it to a semi-brown? By tomorrow, it's going to look real brown on the top. And then when I actually pull it apart to stick it in the stuffer tomorrow, it'll be pink back in the inside. That's just the way the cure works. Don't let that freak you out, guys. Again, it's an easy sausage to make. A lot of people call this Mennonite sausage. I've even run into some people that like to call it Russian sausage. You know, there's a couple different terms to it, but it's just a nice, easy sausage to make on the farm. Casing-wise, I like to use kind of a bigger bratwurst sausage for it. I like to be in that, 50 millimeter size. You can do this with a smaller hot dog sausage if you want. You can do it with just a standard pig casing in that 40 millimeter size, but I like mine a little bigger. And there's different ways to cook this too. When you do this, you can, slice this up and, fry it up in a pan. You can put it in an oven and kind of bake it. It'll dry out a little bit more that way, but people like it. Some people put it with soups and rice in a pan and bake it that way. I like to boil mine. Either way, run it up to an internal temp of 160 and enjoy it. It's that easy. So I'm writing the word farmer sausage on it. I've got all, cling wrapped up here. And I'm going to end my Sunday here with just a little bit of cleanup and throw that in the fridge. Back at you, folks. It's now Monday morning. I'm taking the stuffer and I'm oiling it up with a little bit of avocado oil. I've got my casings here soaking in water for my summer sausage, and I'm going to get those going today. But here it is. Here's my farmer's sausage. This is what it looks like, folks. It's turned nice. It's turned dark. It looks wonderful. I'm very, very pleased with how it's looking. I'm ready to get going with this. So first thing I want to do is get it into the stuffer. Once I get it all in the stuffer, there'll be about 14 pounds in here. I'm going to stuff it up. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to use my 50 to 55 millimeter casings today. I'm going to probably do, I'm guessing 20 to 24 inch long casings. So that way I can make a loop in my bags and it'll freezer store a little easier for us. And then we'll have a beautiful sausage. I'm going to put a little bit of hickory smoke on these for maybe at most an hour or so. I just want a little bit of that flavor. I'm going to do it at a really low temp. I'm not worried about it. I got my celery cure in there, so it's going to do just fine. So here I'm feeding on the first casing. It always goes a little tougher with the first one because it's not quite always as moist. My casings have been soaked. And here I go. I'm getting my sausage made. I like to leave a space between them and have my daughters just put string tie on them. Everybody's different. Some people do the twist method. I found with these bigger casings and I'm stuffing them a little bit on the tighter side. Sometimes if I do my twist method, I break one. I just don't really want to do that. So here I am. I'm making farmer sausage. Pretty easy to do. I'm getting it stuffed in. It's looking fantastic, folks. This is what I want to do. You're going to notice a little bit of water dripping out of it. Remember, that's because I put a couple cups for this double batch of water in to make sure my spices got mixed in. I find no issue with that. Some people are like, don't put water in. I don't know. My sausage is nice and moist. My family loves it. I'll give some to my local priest and I'll give some to my mother who loves this kind of old school sausage, and it'll work out absolutely fantastic, folks. So here I am putting on another casing. As you can see, it goes a lot faster on the second one, and this is just it's just going to go like this until the bin's empty. Stuff them up is what I can say. It's fantastic. So smoker, I've got hickory wood in it right now. I've got the smoker actually kicked up pretty good in temp, and what I mean by that is I'm running just a little over about 100 degrees right now, and it's starting to put on a nice smoke. I've got my summer sausage in here too because I'm going to start that. Now that's going to smoke a lot longer, so that's a whole different game. But that's a different video, and I've made that video in the past. My sausage is just starting to dry out, so the casings aren't wet. They want to be dry like this tube of summer sausage. You don't want that shininess to your casings. So once you get done stuffing this, let it sit for a couple hours and dry, okay? So that way it takes a nice smoke. I've laid them in on my racks because I don't have a hanging smoker. This is a laying 3-level big pig smoker. I can smoke a lot of meat on it though on these crates. I try to make sure they're not touching, and then I put a couple temperature probes in. Now again, I'm not taking these up to 150 or 152 degrees. I'm going to put these things at about 125 degrees, and I'm only going to smoke them for probably about an hour. When I get done, these sausages won't be any higher at 3:30 in the afternoon. It'll probably be about 4:30. They won't be any higher than maybe 100 degrees. That'll be it. So here we are an hour later. They've been in here for just about an hour. They've come up to 105 degrees. That's all I want. I don't want to, melt the fat. I don't want to cook these. I'm just adding some nice smoking flavor to my farmer sausage. And you don't have to do this, folks. You could have gotten done casing this up, wrapped them up, vacuum sealed them, and thrown them in the fridge. Take them out, boil them, or bake them up to 160 degree internal temperature down the road, and you'd have wonderful farmer sausage. But I find with this recipe, with the salt and the pepper and the little bit of celery cure, these things do fantastic with a little bit of hickory smoke. People come over and enjoy my farmer sausage or Mennonite sausage, whatever you want to call it, and they go, wow, this really got a good flavor. And I said, yep, I really do think it's that little bit of hickory smoke added at the end. I know it's kind of a cold smoke because we're only smoking between 125 and maybe 150 degrees. I'm only bringing the sausage up to 100 degrees for an hour and getting some smoke in it. But since it's a thin sausage with just a hog casing, it doesn't take much to get some nice smoke flavor in. And here my wife has taken 2 sausages at a time, because that's what our family needs for a meal, because, there's 7 of us. And she is vacuum sealing them down. She puts a pretty good seal on them, really sucks them down fairly decent. And then, these will go into the fridge after being labeled up. It's an easy sausage to make. Absolutely love it. I make other sausages. I make bratwurst. I make hot dogs. I make, deer sticks. I make summer sausage. We all love that stuff too. But this is such a nice, basic, wholesome sausage to have on the farm, folks. And with basic, good ingredients like this, you really can't go wrong if you try to make it. So I really hope you've enjoyed how I've made this video. I know it got a little long. We're probably pushing, 17 or 18 minutes to get this video made. But I really wanted to show you the farmer sausage. I've had some people really compliment me on my flavor of it. And I think it's got to do with that little bit of smoke that we add at the end. Here we're making just a single bag. I'm going to give this to my mother. She absolutely loves this sausage. But I want to show you what it looks like here when it's vacuum sealed up. So once she gets this one done, I'll show you a still frame of it here. And basically that's it. Freeze it up and enjoy, folks. Just remember the sausage does have to be cooked. Cook it to 160 degrees, boil water, bake it, whatever you want to do. But that's a simple farmer sausage recipe, folks. Enjoy. Thanks for watching our channel and following us along.